Ellary Haverdink. This is Pert talking to you. Sorry it took me so long to finally, get in touch with you and make contact on this. A couple of general comments before I start. I've done this with many athletes, especially on the soccer side, and all have failed. So what I mean by failing is the other coach didn't agree to it, or Banstra just said this is going to be impossible to do. So you're kind of facing an uphill battle with it. And I really don't want to try to recruit you away from tennis because that's not my goal. But you have expressed an interest, so I'm going to give you the best realistic um, presentation that I can give you for how you would approach this. So let's say you were like forced to do it, what the best thing would be under our current rules, which aren't really very smart at all, and what role you would play on our team. So first of all, on this dual schedule here, the green over on the left, you can kind of ignore that, except for the Spring Lake away there. That's weird days that I flag because we have hundreds of kids and I need to flag weird days. So you can ignore that green. What you really want to pay attention to is the aqua color on the right side. What you and Coach Lovers would have to um, agree to, let's say, to make track worth it. So you don't want to do track just to do two meets. That's not worth it for anybody. And you'd be spending all that nervous energy for just two meets. And what could I really put you in then that's of any worth? Certainly not on our good relay team, which that's coming up in a moment. So I just laid the schedule side by side. And the reason for the aqua color again is you and Coach Lubbers would have to sit down and say, all right, how many of these can you leave early? So the leave early just has practice. Again, we're looking at the aqua colored highlighting. So we have Holland at home on Wednesday, March 31st. So could you leave practice like at 4:30 or maybe 4:15 to come to the track meet? That's the first thing. The second thing is when you see practice question mark in red, we have an away track meet. And so then I would be asking on some of these dates with the practice question mark in red, could you miss practice entirely? Now I realize I'm asking, so on those, the practice with the red question mark, we have one, two, three, four, five of them. So I realize that I may not get all five. I'm good with that. I'm a man of reason. But you would have to, so where I would make the sacrifices, I would want you like to go to Spring Lake because they're the team to beat. I would want you to go to Highland Christian because I favor the league. Whereas like the Allegan Invite, I shouldn't have put that because that's at night. You might be able to do practice. So that one, I'm going to look back at this. This is going to change every day, Ellary, because our meets will change. The other thing I needed to say, I'm not sure 417 and 424, we'll do this right now, are going to be meets for us because I need weekends in April because I'm a teacher that just is so greatly challenged with time right now. So I don't even know if those two are going to be conflicts. But what I'm willing to do is like the Allegan Invite and the HC Coed relays, maybe, so you could probably do practice and then drive to Allegan Invite. We might actually be able to navigate our way through this. The big question is, let me do this. So as Coach Lovers sees this, this is a night meet. The HC Coed relays really is a night meet too. I'll say this, Ellery, get ready to fill your gas tank up. I mean, if this really works, it might work. Now that I'm actually thinking about like when these meets really happen, So notice both right here. So when you see both, that means that um, you might be able to do both, a little bit of both. Maybe not everything, but so like you have home Coopersville here. I'm sorry, track has home Coopersville. We don't start till 4:30 though, and you have Zeeland East at home. And let me see the right headings here. Yep, in tennis. So you might be able to do your tennis meet and then come to the end. There's just things you can do. It's going to be hectic, but there are things you can do. So let me get back to the important thing now. The aqua colored highlighting, you need to be able to sit down with Coach Lubbers, and the ones that have the red question mark, can we get out of all of it? So definitely Spring Lake. Let me go down here. Definitely Highland Christian still, because you got to get over there and we start at 4:30. I don't know. I'm going to change this one. You might be able to just do normal practice and leave early there. That's a good hour and a half drive to Harper Creek. This is Harper Creek, not Highland Christian. I mean, if you absolutely, they start late though. So I'm going to change it to that. So the ones that just have practice again, can you leave practice early to go to track? And then the ones that have practice and a question mark, notice those are 3 league meets. Can you miss most or all of practice? That's what. So again, I'm not saying I'm, every single one I would want to win you over on, but there has to be some give on that end. And I would say you would have to be able to do most of those meets to make it worth, the weight in gold. And so when you see both in red, that means I think you'd be able to do both. So you have your conference at Spring Lake. My guess is that happens during the day. And so our conference meet at Allendale is going to be mainly at night. Running finals start at 6:30. I'm probably not going to put you in a field event just, because of your knee. So that's what I mean by both. Even regionals, so what's the likelihood that so the possibilities are track on Friday and Saturday, tennis on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. Will they both be on the same day even? So I'm guessing that they wouldn't be. And will you make state finals in either sport? I don't know. I don't think we should say, oh, just because tennis has state finals on June 4th or 5th, that, we should throw a season away. So that remains to be seen. And I think we should just dismiss that until we have to come to it. And obviously tennis would, let's say you made the state in both, tennis would have to, would be your first choice. So that's why tennis wins the battle, when you're on the same day. Again, I'm not sure about the Lakewood Invite or Fred Solis. But that's your big thing with Coach Lubbers. Would he be willing to let you go early? And surely I would be, we want to keep you at that practice as long as possible. Of course, you've got to find, time also to practice track. So when you are at the courts at Hamilton, I know you guys sometimes practice at other facilities. I would probably drag you down after your tennis here and there. And so it's going to be some longer days. But you're a senior, you get spring break to recover. You get out of school early in May to rest. I mean, so you're going to have days where you can sleep in and rest. I mean, I think it's worth it. Certainly, again, there's a little bit of a price to pay. You would be a little more tired in tennis, although I know tennis really isn't that physically grueling. So at the beginning here, as I say, just tennis, that just means that if we are conflicting, then you're going to go to tennis. But it doesn't mean that you can't do both the same day. So this is a play it by ear thing. And the decision is, if you actually get this to work, just means that is, come to shove what you would do. So I think it's doable if Coach Lubbers can agree on these aqua dates to let you out of practice early, or maybe on a couple let you not practice at all. I mean, if he's willing to do that, I don't expect to win every one of them, but if he's willing to do it, I think we might have a dual season if Bandstra could approve it. You would have to drive to meets, so get ready to spend some money on gas. So what would being on Pert's team look like? The track team, I should say, not Pert's team. So I need to tell you this. You need to keep this confidential just because I don't know right now. And there's a lot of kids that are up in the air. So certainly you've heard about Raquel's situation. The amazing thing, and this is just, and the convincing me of God's miracles in the angelic realm. So she is going to be on crutches for another week or two, and there's a lot of physical therapy here, and they have cleared her for athletics. I'm just shocked. I'm amazed. And with the understanding that it is not going to be the same as it was her freshman year. So our sprint relays are, they're open. And I'm not sure, what role Raquel will have. And so you notice these names at the bottom here. We'll start with the 4x200. There are kids that I've talked to and that for whatever reason, they're kind of in the queue. And actually none of the three. So Jessica Behrens is a kid that I talked to last year, and she tends to sweet talk me more than anything. So, and Geraldine, his family is big on softball, and she's thinking about softball. So we had actually looked at a dual season for Geraldine between softball and track last year. But the problem there was state finals. And so we were looking at really, really good sprint relays, and state finals conflicted with soccer districts, and 100% both were going to happen. And so we didn't want to come down to that decision. So we just told her, you need to make a decision. So I'm not even sure Geraldine is in. I think so, because I think trackers are a better thing. But anyway, this is just some guesses. As far as these three girls, so let's say you did come out and somehow you ended up on one of these relays. Here's the other one, the 4x100. And there's the 4x400, which we'll talk about in a bit. These girls are fast. Okay. Was it as fast as with Rhea Blood and Raquel Burdick in that group? And Tessa was in that group? No. And Brittany Driesinga was part of that. And Hannah Wett-Lauffer? No, not as fast, but still fast. And perhaps state qualifying fast. And, perhaps all conference fast. There's so much that's been lost with these 2 years in the pandemic. Anyway, that's where I would see you fitting in. 4x100 relay. So you each run a 200 and hand it off. 4x100, same group of kids. We have Stella Katowski. So she set the 70-meter record in middle school. Fast girls, Geraldine is in the sprint relay records and the 300 hurdles record. So the first time she ran the 300, she was 0.1 second away from the record. So she's an athlete. And Tessa's fast. Tessa's going to run at Davenport. So you would have a great group of kids to run with. It's just not what it was with the school record girls a couple of years ago. And what I think is going to end up being, the best relay is that scary 4x400 relay. So this is one lap of pure joy around the track. But these three girls are the best at this. So what happens in the sprint relays are a whole lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. But as you move through the season, it gets harder to win them because you really start coming into touch with the fast girls. But the 4x400 is a little bit easier to gain some gold at the end of the year. We'll say it that way. And so we have these three girls, and notice they're really part of the 4x2. Elise isn't, but Sarah's the second fastest 400 girl in Hamilton history, and Tessa and Elise are in the top 15 for sure. And we've had a lot of 400 runners in Hamilton history, a lot of really good ones. So that's saying a lot. Anyway, I could even see you fitting in that relay for sure. So with your knee, I would assume it's pretty much healed. I'd probably stick to relays, maybe like an open 200. You get 4 events. I probably would shy away from anything in the field. Notice the 3 red events. Those are the events we need a lot of help with. So anyway, and those really wouldn't pertain to you. If you had a healthy knee, I would think about high jump, but you don't want a high jump with a knee that's been blown out. That is not wise to do the whole twisting thing, you know. So that's what I see. Again, just between you and me, these names, okay, because I'm not really sure. So I'm only really sure on Sarah and Tessa and Stella, 100%. And then the rest just depends on how things play out. But we definitely have some wide open spots for you. So I hope this helps. Your first thing that you have to do, you have to sit down with Coach Lubbers. And I mean, if he doesn't agree to it, we're dead in the water. And I wouldn't, get mad if he doesn't agree to it. It's just, if he doesn't, both coaches have to agree. So to have a decent season, you would need to, again, on some of those aqua colored slots, can you get out of some or all of the practice? So the red with the question mark, if you were going to do that, I would say away duels would have to be all of practice. And then the rest would probably be some practice. But if he would say, no way, you can't get out of any practice, maybe he would say, okay, only once a week. And then we could certainly work with, okay, what would take the priority of, the 1 meet a week that you could do that in. So you need to talk to him. And if then he agrees that those are negotiable, I think Banster then would be the next thing. And then we would, this is only general, but then we would have, as this gets near, we would have to figure out some way, of getting you some training in. And hopefully the weather's nice enough that you're up at the tennis courts and that you could just, come down and do a quick workout. I could probably get done with you on most days, a half hour to 45 minutes of just training, whatever running we would have to do. Just relay practice would have to happen too if this did work. And so those days might take a little bit longer, and we would have to figure out things, maybe 1 day a week you could come to track first, so I could schedule some quality practice. Then we could get you out of there and you could still make part of tennis practice, as long as things like that could be a little flexible. I would be all right with this. Okay, I hope all this helps.